Hey everyone, Victoria Haffer here. And today we're going to talk about one of the common questions that I get a lot from my clients and students and just followers in social media is they hear me talk a lot about my spiritual team. And so people are always curious about that. What is that? What is a spiritual team? And do I have one? So the answer is yes, you have a spiritual team. Everybody has a spiritual team, whether you know it or not, believe it or not, it's there. You basically sign an energetic spiritual contract with two guardian angels that come into this lifetime with you at birth. And then there's a whole slew of other possibilities, which we're going to talk about today. So you have two guardian angels, and they're basically assigned to you. So their entire job and purpose in life is to be able to assist you on your spiritual journey. So the cool thing about that is, well, first of all, you don't have to worry about that they're busy or doing something else, because they're always just kind of waiting. They're like, we're here. We want to support you. We want to assist you. However, it's really important that you understand that in the universal law of spirituality, that your spiritual team cannot intervene in your life without you asking for support, guidance, wisdom, however you want to take a look at it. So that's pretty cool. So another aspect of your spiritual team is spirit guides. So spirit guides are basically, if you think of the word entity, entity means a being without a body, without a physical body. And so there's actually entities all over the place. There's entities in your house, at your work, as you walk down the street. So it's just, there's this energy, whatever it is, people sometimes will call them ghosts. Most of them are just confused and don't realize that they haven't crossed over. So they're kind of like often what we call lost souls. But a spirit guide is a being without a body, but they purposely have come into your reality to assist you with a very specific thing. So let's just say, for example, you're an artist, and you're into painting, and so maybe you really love. Sorry, I'm not a huge artist with paintings, but just think of a famous artist that you may want to channel, and you could literally, just by asking to connect with the soul of that specific being. So it could be a person that actually lived and walked on the earth and they have crossed over, or you could ask for a spirit guide in the energy for creativity, almost like a muse to work with. So so much of this has to do with intention and just kind of saying, even if you don't know, you've never done this before, just by asking and being like, I'm looking for spiritual guidance. And remember, you always want to say for the highest and best good, and only asking for working with the light beings. So the light of the highest, vibrational frequency. You want to be mindful of calling in other beings from different astral planes. So spirit guides can be human form, and they can also be in animal form. So for example, I'm a huge animal lover. For those of you who know me, know that I am an intuitive healer for people and animals. And so I do a lot of work with animals, specifically horses and dogs who have a history of PTSD and trauma, or have maybe behavioral issues, somewhat aggression, or anxious, fearful, kind of reactive dogs or horses. And so I love animals, and I work a lot. My core team for spirit is I have 4 power animals that I work with. And so I work with a wolf, I work with a dragon, I work with a tiger, and I work with a horse. And so when I do any rituals or guided meditations, or I do my own deep healing work, I always call them in and ask for their support and assistance in the process, as well as when I work with my clients, whether they be 2-legged or 4-legged. So it's and it's sort of like there's 2 ways to figure out. People always say, well, how do I know who my power animal is or my spirit animal is? You can journey. You could, I'll maybe I'll do a video on that. But you could go to YouTube and just go in and say, journey to your power animal. Also, another way is to just kind of think about any specific animals that you really have a real strong connection with since like you were a little girl, little boy. Cardinal, squirrel, you have a really strong affinity to zebras. You love zebras, you collect zebras. Most likely zebra is one of your power animals. And so the next step would be to go to the internet and just search zebra spiritual meaning and then see what comes up. You read the information and most likely you're going to really resonate with it. And then from there, you can say, oh, no wonder, I've always loved zebras and zebra energy. And then you find out like what their main gift is that they bring to the table. And then you can work with them. Again, it's all about intention. You just have to call them into your space. You could call them into your day. It takes all of 1 second to say, I call on the zebra energy. With let's say, for example, horse, if you've ever seen wild mustangs, so horse represents true freedom, all whatever freedom you're looking for, sisters and brothers, emotional freedom, mental freedom, financial freedom. So you can call on the horse for that to assist you in moving forward in you achieving your goals, right? It's just kind of cool to just step into the essence of that. Also with animals, I have a whole slew of animals. I kind of call it like an arc of spirit animals that I work with. And they're just kind of on deck waiting, right, for things to show up or when I need them. And then oftentimes an animal will show up for you, or a spirit guide, animal or person will show up for you at a very specific time in your life that you might need. You might be going through a really hard time. Maybe you lost your job, you lost your house, you're really reinventing yourself. And then, so the essence or the energy of a very specific power animal or spirit guide will show up for you to help and support you to move through that challenging time. Okay. So, and then I'm not sure if I mentioned about family members that have passed over. So they can also be spirit guides as well. And sometimes, I mean, I've had great grandmothers work come through for me and that I've worked with that I've never met. So it could be someone that you've never met in this lifetime, and they still are supporting you and working with you through spirit. So be open to receiving the magic and the energy of it. You basically just call in. You don't have to know who they are. You can just say, I need my spiritual team now. I need the support. And they're not, it's just for mentorship, for guidance, for divine wisdom. Perhaps you're asking for next steps. And certainly you can work with God. People say, well, I work straight with God. That's fine. That is totally fine. So I'm here to share with you information. I'm not here to push an agenda or to force anything on you. So if it feels light, it's right. If it feels heavy, then it's a lie for you, and then you disregard it. So whatever feels light and right for you, take it in, try it on, see how it feels. Another aspect of your spiritual team are the ascended masters. And ascended masters are basically like great like amazing, powerful souls that walked on this lifetime at one time, and now they are working with many souls to assist and support in our process, in our journey. And so some examples of that might be Isis, the goddess of magic and alchemy, Jesus, who is, Christ consciousness. He is an ascended master, and he comes to me often in healings and readings. So any deities or gods or like goddesses often that you've worked with often are ascended masters and teachers. There are a great tool that I use with my clients and my students often is something called an oracle deck. And you can, get those online. There's so many different ones. One of my favorite ones is called The Divine Feminine by Megan Waterson. It's a beautiful deck, and it's filled with a whole array of ascended masters and goddesses of the divine feminine aspect. And how if you're so new to this and you're not sure, like, who is my spiritual team made up of, you could just ask. So you purchase the deck. You could go to a local spirit shop, new age shop, or go online, and you put your energy into the deck and you shuffle it up, and you just say you're tuning the deck to you, to your hands, and to your energy. And then I typically will go through each card one by one. I just kind of go through all the cards and just put my hands and my energy on them and just take in each picture. So depending on what the deck is, it might be a deck, a deck for angels. It could be a deck for fairies. It could be a dragon deck. It could be for goddesses. This one is the divine feminine. So it's all the, ascended masters and goddesses that you could possibly work with. And then you just ask the deck, and you could say, shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. And often a card will kind of pop out. So I look for those sometimes. If not, you can smooth them out on the table and close your eyes, take one hand, and just kind of go over the deck very slowly. And then if you feel an energetic like twinge, pick that card and pull it out. And again, I got to tell you, you just can't make this stuff up. But more times than not, you'll pick the card, you'll read. There's a little book that comes with it that will give you a description, and it'll be spot on to whatever's going on in your life. So I love it. It's just being able to, in those places where you're feeling lost and alone, which I had for so many years in my life, working with my spiritual team, Christ consciousness, God, goddess, and some of these other tools saved my life, really. There were so many times that I just didn't want to be here anymore. And I'm so glad now that I've, healed the cosmic wound for myself. And now I'm empowering others to do the same. So that is just a little bit about how you can work with your spiritual team. Like I said, you can't do it wrong. You just ask for them to come in for support. You can ask in your meditation for them to come through and give you divine wisdom. So it's not psychic. It's not like they tell you what to do, but they will guide you. It's almost like, think of it as a mentorship. And, you might be looking for next step. Maybe you're working, you're trying to heal, you have Hashimoto's or an autoimmune disease or Lyme's disease or some chronic physical condition or chronic anxiety or depression. And then you just, tap into that space and ask for the divine wisdom from your spiritual team. So you can be very collective, or you can work specifically with one of your team members. For example, I work with Isis a lot. She is the Egyptian goddess of magic and alchemy. So I call on her a lot. I actually have a statue of her in my healing room, and I work with her energy and essence. And if it's someone that really speaks to you, just learn about them, read about them, and then the more you get to know their energy and what their divine purpose was, that's going to lead you to other things, right, on your journey. So it's all magical. I always, ask and you shall receive. Although, you can ask all day long if you don't believe you are worthy to receive. So therefore, you've got to heal the micro traumas that maybe have occurred for you in this lifetime or even past lifetimes. And so how we do that is we get still, we get quiet, we get grounded, we get expansive, and we just be. So it's the stepping away from the doing and bringing more balance into the being, which is the yin energy, the receiving energy, that cooling energy, the moon energy. And just sit. So I hope that was helpful. And if you would be so kind, and if it feels light and right for you, I would love for you to subscribe to my channel. And I'd love to hear from you. So let me know what you thought of the video, and have a magical day.